Hi everyone, welcome to our growth series. We are now going to be. This is the growth series of of webinars that we're doing. It's within intelligent outsourcing, but you can actually apply it to most businesses. To be fair on this, we're going to be talking about how to build your team with A players. Now, this is basically part of our series that we do. This is our webinar right now. So the formula, so we have done other ones as well, which I'll just show you, but we are going to be doing a lot more going forward as well. So the whole year we've got planned a different topic each time. Is taking my book and then taking bits out of my book to put in to these webinars and then adding a little bit more as well. So these webinars are for helping people grow their firms, mainly bookkeeping and accounting firms, using the growth formula, and just looking at how you can look at your businesses and your firms and see what you can do to help move things forward. Now, the next one is going to be in May, and that's going to be retaining and leading your A team. Now, for me, I love the fact of creating leadership teams and everything like that, because that allows me to do what I do. But today we're talking about how to build your A team, just things that I've learned and practiced in order to establish the A team. So these are the ones that we have done. These are available on YouTube. So if you want to go to YouTube, the Intelligent Outsourcing YouTube channel, you have got these. So we did have how to beat the January blues, how I nailed Naylor Accounting Services. That was basically looking at the formula of growth that I've created and then getting yourself set for success. So the main ones were actually moving through how I nailed Naylor Accounting Services and getting yourself set for success. So just checking this is the right place for you. The whole point of this A team, that A players, is finding and retaining the right talent basically for your business, because it isn't easy recruiting. It's not easy always retaining, especially in the market that we have had recently within the UK, especially where it's been very buoyant for people who are looking to move, and everyone's wanting accountants, especially, and that's increased salaries massively as well. So this is how we are going to be going forward, and I hope this is what you will be doing. So if this is the right one, there's some proven strategies and everything that I've actually done in the past. So I'm going to be sharing those with you. So please, let's get started. I always like to start off just talking about what we going to be going through today. So I'm just going to be going through why we must have an A team, basically, because for me it's critical to have an A team, because without it I would be in a bit of stuck. And then also why you need core values. So core values to me are really critical, because without that, team members don't really know what you're expecting of them, how to act or anything like that. So the whole point of that is, for me, that we need to be looking at that. Then you've got writing a letter of expectations. So with a letter of expectation, I've got a few little stories on it. I use it in two ways, one to recruit, but also one to bring people up to where they need to be within the team as well. Okay, so I always start with this: why listen to me? So I have got two businesses. I've got Naylor Accounting Services that I started in 2011, which I've grown, and I'm constantly growing. We're looking at acquiring accountancy firms, so we're looking at that every year. I started Intelligent Outsourcing, which is the offshore for accounting and bookkeeping firms in the Philippines, in 2016, and I've grown. Well, we, not me, have grown IO to 100 team members that we currently are. I couldn't have done this without an A team. Absolutely not. I'm just going to say this, go through this, but I'm going to give you some advice. I would take some of it on board. I would have a look at what there is there. You can ignore it, but then just expect some difficulties if you're not doing other things as well. So the whole point of this is you know to share your A team, know the business owner. You can't afford C and D players in your business. And it's basically what you want is the A players, those that are going to step up and not underperform. So A players naturally do step up, and lesser players don't. They step down. So they create a worse performance, because you need everybody to step up and perform at their best, and boost the team sort of morale, and it just really help the business go forward and rowing in the right direction, basically the same direction. So you can have people in that team that may actually hinder it, and that what could be just be one person. But the better that the people that you have, and the better the community you have within your business, it just magnifies the effect, and it just becomes the greatest sum of the parts. So you can create a business that grows and grows without everybody's efforts, and the A team players basically help that happen. And that means you can actually focus on what you want to be doing and need to be doing to grow that business. You can also tell, the type of team, that's a good, enthusiastic, energizing, and you can sort of, it's very emotional, and you can actually feel that you've got the right A team within there. So if you follow the advice, you will actually be, you'll be able to do it. Don't ignore the advice unless you have other things, like I said, because we want, need to be energizing, not debilitating. So a team can be one or the other, and we need that team morale to be high. And it's like a physical feeling of it. So if you work solely for the pay, when some people do, then the problem there you have is either they'll go to the next role for extra money, or they won't be looking at what they can do extra. They'll do the bare minimum in their job, and then they won't be helping things go forward within the business, which is what you want. You want a team that wants to help each other, have fun, and grow going forward. So you want them, you want people who aren't going to be carried. You need to be, they need to be really A team players that will bring everybody on board. And you don't want them saying, why should I work so hard? You want them to actually be enthused by what they're doing and actually grow. And a lot of that's attitude. So what we'll be talking about is getting that attitude into your team members, and making sure you hire the right team members. And you don't want to be acquiring D players on your team, because they can actually lower your team and what they're doing and everything like that, which is not what you want. And I mean, I have had the situation, and I'll go into it in more detail later, the way I've had someone actively working against me. And that was because they didn't like change. They didn't like the offshoring that we do or did at the start, especially in Naylor Accountancy Services. And it created conflicts, basically, which we didn't want. And it actually hindered everything until that person left the business. So, and that person had to leave. They actually left of their own accord, but if they hadn't have done, we'd have had to have asked them to go elsewhere and thrive, just because it was bringing everything down. It wasn't working. We weren't doing the team huddles that we did and wanted to carry on doing in our offshoring team, and actually bringing people on board. So attitude really makes a massive difference within your team if somebody's not got that good A team attitude. So the best solution is not to recruit to D players, and those that are against change, especially if you're wanting change and to make things better. So my dream, so my dream was to have an amazing team that could actually do work and be very productive without me around, and had fun. But at the same time, I was able to then work on the business and not in the business. And because I've got two business, Naylor Accountancy Services and Intelligent Outsourcing, this was key. So I really wanted to be able to do this, and move things forward. And I'd be there to lead and guide this, and not worry about the day to day, because that would all be done by the A team, the team around me, in a professional and manner that all our clients, partners really love. So that was my dream. The reality wasn't like that, and not initially, especially because, as you all know, if you're a business owner, life isn't simple. Business isn't simple. It just really does change massively, and depends on the people around you. So with with Naylor Accountancy Services itself, I had John, who impacted Intelligent Outsourcing because they didn't want the offshore team working. So that was a massive impact on negativity because they didn't like change. But then the big thing, I had also a practice manager named, I'm going to call him Gary, but he was very knowledgeable, brilliant person. But I had to do things in order to get more performance from him, and also just for many things that were in my letter of expectation that I had to give him whilst we were actually operating with him. The only issue I had with Gary was he wasn't growing the business, so he wasn't able to bring on new clients. He wasn't really good at getting referrals and everything like that. So the business wasn't growing either without me actually being involved. So that was an issue. My first acquisition was a nightmare. It was so painful. It was really painful. I had, unfortunately, the actual seller who I bought from, Mary, she was totally against offshoring, despite sort of saying all the right things when we were going through the acquisition process. And what that meant is the talent I'd bought with the actual firm, the accountancy firm, which were two client managers that I wanted within my business because I was struggling to find good accountants in the UK. They left within 3 months, which left me in a massive hole. And then the actual accountancy owner, Mary, she left within 6 months. She was supposed to be there for a whole year, and so it caused no amount of pain for me. I was very blessed. So the IO offshore team, the Naylor Accountancy team, they came in, and that's the Intelligent Outsourcing one for Naylor Accountancy. They helped massively. I had the Intelligent Outsourcing leadership team come in and help as well to make sure we got through the pain. And we managed to hire two amazing client managers in the UK. We brought back somebody who had worked in the business in the past, and then somebody new, and they managed to take everything forward a lot and take work from me once we got out of the dire situation we're in. What happened with this acquisition, and I was not aware of this, and now I know I need to check Companies House for their registered address to see if anybody's actually really late with filing. They were filing everything 12 months after the year end, so they were extending it by 3 months, which I didn't even know you could do by just changing the date by 1 day at Companies House, and then it gives you an extra 3 months. So we had odd year ends, a few days before the month end itself. But what that meant is that we had two set of accounts to do in a year, because we were basically doing catch up. We are used to doing our accounts, preferably within 3 months of the end of the year end. So here we had a situation where we're doing 12 months. And part of the reason for all this, and I won't go into too much detail now until we do in the leadership webinar, is that Mary didn't trust people to do things. She didn't believe in people in her own team. This was prior to coming to Naylor Accountancy Services. So she was doing everything. So she was a massive bottleneck because she wouldn't allow people to file accounts or actually go through the accounts with the actual clients as well. She had to do everything. What this meant was we had pain for at least a really big pain for 6 months and 9 months. I was getting up at 4:30 a.m. every morning to make sure I could do review of accounts, making sure they could get out. So I wasn't becoming a bottleneck because somebody had to review their accounts, and then having client meetings as well to get through everything. So, but within 9 months, we were all getting back to normal. We had done all the self-assessments on time within the deadline. Unfortunately, right to the deadline, which we don't like for some people. All the year ends were all done. We were now starting to catch up on the next year end. So we're actually finishing one year end and starting another one almost at the same time with clients. After 12 months, we were totally back on track to our 3 months normal cycle with these new clients. The issue we then had, to be fair, was that we had to train the new clients into expecting information from them quicker and them not chasing the accountant for information. So it sort of almost turned it all around. It was painful. I wouldn't change it though. I wouldn't want to be up at 4:30 for so long as I did and be so exhausted, but it taught me some massive lessons, learning lessons that I would have never have got had everything just run smoothly. I'm grateful for our current acquisition that we've just taken on is running very smoothly, and that just we'll be looking for that happening in the next one as well. So this is, we've learned a lot. It hasn't put us off doing acquisitions for Naylor Accountancy Services, but it's taught us what to look for. The big lesson for me is what to look for in a team member and also in leaders. So my realization was very simple. I need a more of a plan than just a dream. So we did have all this. I have had, a dream. So the big vision, I need to have a vision, which is what we have for both Naylor Accountancy Services and Intelligent Outsourcing. And with the team members, and business owners tend to become more emotional on the recruiting. It's on personality. So they say people make up their decision within the first 60 seconds or 30 seconds of meeting someone. There needs to be a little bit more than that behind. You need to know what you're looking at and looking for, and you also need to know what your existing team is and what sort of person would fit best in there ideally. But and that creates the plan for recruitment effectively. So today, I believe we have an A team, both in Intelligent Outsourcing, which is the team you can see here with little hashtag hamster, and in the Naylor Accountancy Services team. And by doing that, we've actually communicated our core values. That is critical, and we need to make sure everybody stands by those. There's also, we want to make sure people, especially in leadership roles, get what they're doing, want it, and have the capacity to do it. We'll talk about that later. But what it's meant is that I'm able to step away from both businesses, and they are able to deliver what we need to deliver in both Naylor Accountancy Services and Intelligent Outsourcing, and at the same time have fun. That's what we want people to have, enjoy their work, because you spend so much time there. So why am I sharing all this? I mean, the reason why I wrote the book as well is, and I'm going to be writing some more going forward, is just to help UK, American, Canadian accountant and bookkeeping firms to give them basically my knowledge that I've gained through doing things that wrongly and learning from experience, but also through lots of self-development that I'm doing. So you can also achieve what I've achieved by stepping out of the business and allow others to take the mantle of going forward with the doing, and you can actually do what you want to do within your business. You might like the doing, so you can stay with that, but then at least you've got another team member to allow you to have holidays, take time off, not worry, and also make the income that you need and want for yourself. So I am always passionate about helping anybody, and in this situation, by doing this webinar, is helping firms, especially onboarding 18 players. So what will we discover? So we'll discover how to create an avatar. So for me, the avatar is a big thing. We'll talk, to create your 18. This is thinking about what that person looks like, and we'll give you more detail, but you really want flesh around that. So that helps. You aren't going to get that person, but exact person, but it gives you an idea. So when you see something and someone, that's the right person. And it's also going to be talking about why core values are key, because to success, we established those in both businesses years ago. That has always been a focus, and we just drive there. We've looked at them. We look at them every year to make sure they are the correct core values for both businesses. And then finally, it's going to be how to write a letter of expectations. I do think this is important, both for recruitment, but also for existing team members, even if you don't deliver that letter, for yourself to understand what it is that you're expecting from them if they're not delivering exactly what you want. So we're going to talk about, to start off with, how to create an avatar for your team member, your A team member. So for me, the big thing here, I should have had a picture of the A team here, but I love the A team in the 80s as a kid. I used to watch it all. My favorite, was B.A. Baraka. So the whole of the A team was based around Hannibal Lecter, who was the leader, and he always created a plan. So he was great at creating a plan. You had Howling Madman Murdoch, who was my favorite. He was the medic and he could fly things, and he sort of was just made sure things actually, they got places and everything like that. You had B.A. Baracus, who was the strong one, the mechanic, and got them there on driving and created all the different machines that they built. Then you had Face, the salesman, who could procure absolutely anything. But together they created the A team, which is, I'm trying to think of this theme tune, but I can't do it, so I'm really sorry. But Hannibal Lecter always said, I love it when a plan comes together. And the loving it when the plan comes together is the whole thing. Create that plan, and then that you're more likely to get that A team player. So all of this is about getting that A team. So the whole thing about the avatar is having a name. So you want to have a name, and that can be whatever the name is. Just give them a name. Shelley, Sheila, John, Mary, whatever it is, give them a name so you know what that person is going to be called. Age. So have an idea of age. Now, I know we can't be ageist then, but just have an idea of what that looks like. This doesn't have to be the ideal person. An experience that they should be having. So obviously, if you want somebody who's an apprentice, you'd be expecting them to be younger, very little experience, but some qualifications. Attitude, ambition. Now, attitude is so key. So for me, you can never train attitude. So you can look at mindsets, which is something we're doing more and more in intelligent outsourcing, to make sure that people are actually doing that. And then we can actually look at that. So questions, we will do questions at the end, if that's okay, guys. I can just see someone's raised a question, but if we can do questions at the end, that'd be awesome. So definitely just let me know that somebody's raised a hand. But if you've got any issues, just type it in the Q&A. You should be able to do that, and Stephanie can sort of help with that. So Stephanie's my PA, EA in the Philippines, and she's just sort of helping me on this as we're going through it. And then qualifications, I've already mentioned that. So you might, depends on the qualification, you might want to have ACCA, some form of accounting qualification, as well as their experience in accounting as well. So with maybe some years of experience. And the personal style. So you might be expecting them to be introverts, flamboyant, like a salesperson, maybe able to come out and talk to people more, extrovert. So you need to be looking at what works for you in this avatar. So create this avatar, ideal person. And then profiling. So once you've got the perfect person, this avatar, it just improves communication. So profiling can just help the team members understand each other, and then just communicate how they should be communicating with other people, because they know what the profile of that person is. So the profiling of a person is, are they introvert? Are they extrovert? Are they more of a compliance? Are they more emotional or more touchy-feely? That sort of thing on the DISC profiling type of thing that we have. I'll go through that shortly. But it enhances the team's performance as well. So just have a drink. So profiling can sort of help people in your team so just recognize their strengths and weaknesses, their own and the rest of the team as well, if you share them, which is I recommend, and just enhances sort of team performance of each member. It gets better team dynamics as well, because it identifies where there could be conflicts or tensions, because the styles of the people are different. So if you've got someone who's very dominant, they will basically just be very blunt and to the point, and that might upset some people who aren't, they're more on the compliance side, so they don't like that sort of behavior. So you just need to be aware of those sort of behaviors, which everybody is aware of if you've done the profiling, and then they can adapt their style slightly to them because it gives them the knowledge. And it also is effective project assignment. So you can assign projects to the person that's actually with their profile is more likely to get the result that you want within that. And then also you've got personal development. So profiling is sort of just give the team member valuable feedback from their skills and personality traits that, that gives them the knowledge that can just help those team members work on personal development. So there might be some weakness they might have, or even an enhancing where they actually are better. And that's a good one to look at, where you've got someone who's good at, say, German. Don't get them to translate something in French, get them to translate something in German, and also make sure that they improve on the German if they want to. So it's just making sure everybody's in the right seat, and doing the right project, and doing the right personal development for them. And increasing team member retention. So it can help managers just identify team members' strengths and interests so that they can allow them to create and develop plans around what fits that team member best, and their goals. So they can create goals and aspirations for those team members that align with their profile, basically. And it gives them more job satisfaction, which then leads to better retention. So this is the DISC profile. So that is everything on that DISC. So this is the DISC. So just an overview of it. So I've talked about dominance. That's like somebody who's very to the point, very abrupt. And that's a bit like Donald Trump, Alan Sugar. So you've been fired, sort of thing. Not mincing their words. So they are demanding. They can be they're very decisive. They're self-confident. They're very independent, and they just want results. And under pressure, they do lack concern, and they fear just lack of control. It's only 19% of the population. If you can see all of these, that is the lowest, 19%. Influencing. So they tend to be very enthusiastic, very optimistic, friendly, persuasive. They like admiration. Under pressure, they can be disorganized, and they fear social rejection. And that's 31% of the population. I'm actually an influencer from one DISC. So I'm in there. I've got a little bit of dominant in me, but I think most business owners have a little bit of dominant, because you have to create that, otherwise you're not going to go forward. But you will fit some of this profile. I can actually share at the end, if you want it, a free DISC that you can do for yourself and your team members if you would like. And there's another one as well, the 1, 2, 3 test as well. So if you would like that, let us know at the end, or put it in the chat now, and Stephanie will make sure that you get this. It may be today. I'm not sure. It may be tomorrow, because Stephanie is finishing at 3 p.m. today. So an influencer is someone like Oprah Winfrey and Graham Norton. So those are the people who are influencers. Then you've got the steadiness. So that's someone who's calm and steady. And you want people of all these different, profile in your team. But, steadiness, modest, good listener, careful, patient, wants attention, under pressure. And they're very, they can be too willing, and they hate loss of stability. And that's like, they don't like change so much. This is a lot of the accountants are sort of steadiness and compliance, or below the line. So they tend to be in this region. And then you've got the likes of David Beckham and David Attenborough, for the UK guys there. So that those are the people who are steadiness. And the top end is more extrovert, the bottom end is more introvert. And there's slower decisions. So you've got the line, slow decisions and facts and feelings going across as well. Compliance. Now that is precise. This is more the accountants, followers the rules, logical, disciplined, want detail. So this is a lot where you find accountants and bookkeepers in the compliance side. Sorry, the steadiness, you get a lot of people like nurses and doctors more in the steadiness, because that's like the caring side a lot more. Compliant is making sure things are done right and to the rule. So under pressure, they can be really critical, and they fear criticism at work. And that's 22% of the population. And that's someone like Theresa May and Gordon Brown. So I don't remember if you remember Gordon Brown, but he was a very stark difference to Tony Blair. Tony Blair was more of an influencer, so he was on the I side. So a sales and marketing person, should be potentially in a D, but they can also be in an A, an I, and a client relationship person, you'd be looking at a steadiness, so an S. An accountant would be a C, or an S, so you can be either of those. An ideal accountant would be potentially a C, but it doesn't mean it's one or the other. So I hope that's of interest there. But what I'd just say, the tools of profiling, other ones you may use, there's the Belbin, that's a good one. There's the Strength Finder, which I've done as well. You can do that. If you do that, it's a book, so you can buy the book, and then you can actually just do the test in the back of it. But I did it ages ago, it's probably changed slightly. Myers-Briggs, which everybody's heard about, an IQ test, and an aptitude test. But the ones that I can give you, just let me know. It's some discs just here. I can actually got that. I've got them in the slides. Just let me know, and we can actually pop them out there to you. Simple steps. So just to ensure each team member sort of agrees to the core values. So that's the 4 simple steps. That's my first one. So make sure you've got the core values and they agree to them. So whenever we hire anybody, we always send out our core values. Obviously, if someone wants the job, they're going to say they agree to it, but we will ask them about the core values as well, and continually ask them when they're working for us as well. So within Naylor Accountancy Services, every week we do go through the core values. 2 people talk about a core value and give an example of it that they've done in the workplace or at home or something. You need to make sure that they actually get what the role is requiring and what is required of them. Now, the get is understanding. So the big thing there is, if people don't understand what they need to do, they're never going to be doing a good job, because they're not understanding what they need to do. So whenever I look, especially in leadership team, I'm always looking at, do they get what they're doing? Do they actually understand what they want? So before I'd even want anybody going into a leadership role, I will be testing them and asking them questions to see if they actually get what I'm looking for and what we need. Then you've got must be capable. So capable is like capacity. So that's brain power, but it's also time. But in this case, it'll be brain power. So are they able, are they capable? So are they able to do what you need them to do within the role? Can they carry out their assignment correctly? If they can't, they're never going to do that role that you want them to do, because they don't have the capacity. So if you don't get it, it's not going to work. If you don't have capacity to do it, it doesn't work. If they don't agree with the core values, you don't want them in your business, full stop. With the core values, guys, you can also, we do this, we pull people up on them. So if somebody isn't exhibiting them, we say, look, you know, you're supposed to be care for our clients and our team members, and you're not, that because of XYZ, what have you done? You know, make sure that you do, because we can't have that happen because you're against the core value. And effectively, if you're against the core value, you aren't actually, it shouldn't be part of the team. So the next one is want. So they need to want to do the role that you need them to do. They might get it, they might have the capacity to do it, so they might understand it, get what you want them to do, have the capacity, so the brain power and the time, but they might not want it. So if they don't want it, so this is another thing I really look for in leadership team, especially, is that do they want that role? Do they want what we want from them? If they don't, they're not the right person. So you need to get the mindset right, and that's massive there. So the want. And they want to grow. So I'm not looking for, and you don't want to be looking for, if somebody wants it, it doesn't mean that they've got to have all that experience that you want within that avatar. But what they need to do is they have the capacity to do it. So they're able to do it mentally. They get what you want to do and the journey you want to take them on, but they also want it. So they want to be able to do it. They want to grow and self-develop to become that avatar that you've created. So the whole point here is that, so we've done this in the Naylor Accountancy Services team, that we've got a new team leader coming in, the team, so they've come in, we've grown them up from below. So they've been doing an IO Academy leadership training course. And when I was out there in the Philippines, I was really questioning him just to see that he had the want, the capacity, and the getting it, understanding what it was, and plus the core value. But I know he has the core values, so I just needed to make sure the want was there, because he doesn't have it now. But as long as he wants it, I know he can get there because the attitude's right, and the capacity's there. So you look at the whole of the picture, and the get it capacity and the want, and the understanding and the core value, and making sure that person has all that. And that makes sure those 4 steps, it's a very simple 4-step. We use it, or I use it especially in my head with anybody. So if I have an issue with someone, I will go through this in my head straight away. Do they have that? If they don't have one, if there's a cross in any of these, there's a problem. Need to address it straight away, or that might not be the right person for that role. So this is a quote. I love this quote. I mean, there's the Bulls coach for basketball, with Michael Jordan in when they won whatever it was, the league, so many years in a row. But the strength of a team is each individual member. The strength of each member is the team. So you have to have everybody in that team to be strong, but the team itself being strong creates more. So you get basically a magnified impact. So the strength of the team is each individual member. The strength of each member is the team. So you get strength from each other. So core values. So companies live and die by their core values. So, and just to help shape your business, and you need to decide, if you haven't got them already, what your core values are. And you can do this by inviting your team members to take part in it. And there are great workshops that you can do this with. And we're going to be creating them in the Naylor Accountancy Services for our clients to do. And we can actually host them and make sure that they get them out of it. But the big thing about core values is it's the value is the concept or principle that it's just important guide to the behavior and decision making. So with any decision making, if those core values are tick, we will never have an issue with the decision that a team member makes, even if it's wrong, because as long as they tick all those core values, there's learning there, but it's not wrong, because they've kept those core values. If they're outside of the core values, then there's a problem. So then we have to have a conversation. And your business should have between 3 and 7 core values. So we have 7 in intelligent outsourcing. And the only reason is that the leadership team and the whole intelligent outsourcing team didn't want to lower the number to a lesser number. In Naylor Accounting Service, we have 5. And the core values are about how you do business and how you want employees, the team members. I don't really use employees, but team members to actually act. So that's how it works with core values. So Naylor Accountancy Services has I Care. Now, it used to be the same as intelligent outsourcing, but every year in our annual strategic planning meeting, for both intelligent outsourcing and Naylor Accounting Services, we go through our core values and we make sure we are still happy with them and we don't want to change them. Now, we changed it in Naylor Accounting Services because we wanted to be called, didn't want to be I Charge as the acronym. We wanted I Care. So as in a Naylor Accounting Services, I Care. So I Care, integrity. For us, it's the most important thing, being honest. So that's a massive thing for us. Care for the clients and care for each other. So it's actually having care all round, so all stakeholders. So we actually make sure that we do have that care in everything that we do. Accountability. The big thing I hate is people making excuses, blaming or denying anything. Everybody must take accountability, ownership and responsibility. So that's what we call above the line. The denying, blaming and excusing is below the line. So everybody take accountable for what they do. There may be underlying circumstances that something's happened, then we learn from it and we move things forward. Respect. Everybody should show respect for their team members and also their clients. We expect clients also to show respect to the Naylor Accountancy Services team because respect goes both ways. And this is for everything that we do. So we will pull people up if they don't show these or are contrary to these. And excellence. So that's an excellent service to our clients. So we want to do everything as best as we can. And constant. We actually have something called Project Perfect in Naylor Accountancy Services. So we look at any little thing, anything that's made a mistake or something that hasn't happened how we wanted it, put it in, we do a solution, create a solution, talk about it, create a solution, put it in place, and then change the processes so that it doesn't happen again. So that's I Care for Naylor Accountancy Services. Now, for intelligent outsourcing, it's virtually the same. So we have I Charge, so integrity, care, have fun is another one that we have. So we want to have fun. Forget we've got 100 people in the Philippines right now, and we're looking to grow with that. We want them to have fun because we want them. So we do games nights, we do different things to make sure that we're doing a hamster run at the weekend, which is a fun run, 3K and 5K. You can join virtually, by the way, guys. If you do, go onto my post and you can just click the link. It was yesterday's post, and it's all about the hamster run. So we're doing it. It's for our 8th year anniversary of intelligent outsourcing, but the whole point of it is to bring everyone together, have a bit of fun, and then just have a little run. It's very early in the morning out there because it's very hot. So they look to do it before everything starts getting warm. So that's the have fun. Accountability, I've already talked about that. Respect, growth. So the point of growth is that we still want that within Naylor Accounting Services, but the growth is for the team members to grow their experience and self-development, but it's also for the partners to grow their businesses. So what we see within intelligent outsourcing is that they are growing their businesses by growing our offshore team. With intelligent outsourcing, they're growing their business because they can get compliance done easily in the Philippines. And then excellence. How to write a letter of expectation. Now, this can, when you deliver it, so there's two ways of doing this. This is for recruitment. I also in the book talk about it and with a very interesting case study or story that I did of using it for somebody who was already in my team. But we're looking at this for letter of expectation, a new team member. So within this, it's just basically writing a letter that covers the role, how you want them team member to behave, and it should be from everything like act and interact with other people, but it's everything. It's even how you want them to dress. Do you want them smart cash? Do you want them with a suit and tie? Do you want them to be have their hair combed, or would you prefer them to be clean shaven? Or just if they have a beard, make it's tidy so that you don't put off clients. Making sure they've got, I've had to do this, but this was, have good hygiene so they don't, sounds bad, but smell. So you probably wouldn't, you could put this in a letter of expectation. You probably wouldn't want to do that in somebody coming in, but if they then come in and they have got bad hygiene, you would need to add that in, because otherwise you will put everybody else off in your team, which is what happened in Naylor Accountancy Services. I had team members not very happy because of someone's hygiene. So I had to make sure that was actually taken care of. Otherwise, I would have been losing some team members. But it's just looking at everything that you want them to do outside of the avatar. So the avatar is what they sort of look like, feel like, what experience they've got, and everything like this. This is the letter of expectation, how you want them to behave and act and interact with people. So it's more of a contract of expectations of what how they should be at work. So this is, is managing team members who is not fulfilling expectations and hiring. So I've gone through this here. So the behave, act, interact. So, this is for recruitment, and it's very handy, but it's also handy for when you've got a team member that you need to bring back in line. So now you know how to create an avatar for each team member of your A team. So it's just very basic in that you need to it's anybody new hire that you want, just create that avatar. Talk to the team members what they think as well, and make sure they're happy with it. If you want to get them involved, if it's just yourself, look at doing that yourself. Then core values, they are so key. If you don't have those, make sure you've got them, but make sure whoever you are recruiting has those core values. If you've got team members, make sure those team members are abiding by those core values, and if they're not, do pull them up and get everybody. So I ask my team, both in the Philippines and the UK, to pull me up on any core value I don't exhibit. So sometimes we can go below the line, so deny, excuse, and blame, but you want to be accountable. So you want to show respect. So if anybody isn't showing respect to anybody, this is in and out of work, then I want to be pulled up. If it's me, I'd want other people pulling everyone else up as well. We don't want people who don't abide or believe in our core values. And then how to write a letter of expectation. Now that is, like I said, behavior is how you want them to act and do things. So that is, to me, very important. And it's also an important tool if you've got an issue with person, which is supposedly out of scope of here, but I'll just talk into that a bit. And it doesn't mean that you might give that letter of expectation to an existing team member. You might write it down so you know what you want expecting that to do with them, and you might look at where they are falling down. What that then gives you is the opportunity to think how you can help them self-develop out of that issue that you've got with them without giving them the letter of expectation. So the idea is you give the letter of expectation to a recruitment person, and this is what you are, get them to sign it so they know this is what they're signing up to, what you're expecting of them. But if you've got somebody within your team, you can give it to them and go through it and then give it to them as a physical letter, get them to sign it and take it away. The reason for that is everything in writing means more than just verbal. Well, you don't need to do that. You can just articulate it to yourself, and I'll just sit on it and then think, do you really want to have that conversation? If you have a dominant person who is actually very fiery, you might not want to do that because they might end up just handing in the resignation. So you need to be thinking carefully how you do these things. So you might be looking at what you're doing, what you want them to do, and then how to do it best. So I hope you found this useful. I hope there's been something in it for you. And feel comfortable about everything here, and there's some things there. But what I was going to say, that I have got a couple of things that you can do going forward from here. So I do this every webinar as well, but if you're new to me, there's two ways you can choose. You can just book a discovery meeting with me, if you would like, and I'm happy to have go through that. That's one next step. And so I'm very happy to do that with anybody. It just with the discovery meeting, it's just get an opportunity to discuss your business and vision with me, reflections based on my experience. So I'm not saying I'm perfect, because things never are perfect. You look to perfection, but you never get there. If I did want only perfection, I wouldn't be continually growing. But I know that we can just aspire to it and constantly do what we call project perfect, making things better all the way. And we've also got a template for writing letter of expectations as well, so you can get that as well. So, on ideas and action. So this is if you do want to have a one-to-one, just exploratory meeting with me, do let Stephanie know. She's in the chat here, or email us later, or DM me on LinkedIn. Now I'm also, and I always do this, I've just ordered a load. Actually, we've just changed the artwork for Accountex London, so we'll be there in May, and we'll be on a stand 1183 by the cafe. That's Accountex London. But with that, we're going to have a book, and I'll be able to sign a book. So if you want that, let me know. If you come into Accountex London, let me know, and I'll just put it aside for you. Otherwise, I can send it to you as well. Once I get them delivered, and then they should be hopefully delivered by next week. But we've just changed a few things in the book, not massively, but just a few little things, just to update it slightly. So do book a meeting, discovery call if you want, with my PA Stephanie. This is the number, or go to LinkedIn. So we will have some questions in a minute. Just one final thing. So knowledge is power, but it's not really power, it's potential. So you have to take action. So everything, and this is what I've learned loads through doing coaching with Simon Chaplin and working with other people, is that you're right, you need to take action. If you don't take action, nothing happens. So I've given you some ideas there. I hope some of them have been useful, but please do message me if you want to have a further chat. So, probable questions. So do let me know if there are any questions. I am going to probably just stop sharing in a minute. Do put them in. So Stephanie, I don't know if you've got any. So one question I do get a lot is, I don't have time. So this is the big thing. I don't have time. So lots of people say that they don't have time. With that, to be fair, it is a big question that you have to make time. And the only way you can do that is doing something different. And if you don't do that's something different, you're never going to get there. And it is actually an issue. So you do need to do that. And with one tip that I can give everybody, which I've just found myself actually just very recently, is that change your Outlook diary to 15 minutes. If you do that and then book everything in 15-minute chunks. By doing the 15-minute chunks, you get 4 things done at least that you can do in an hour. You can chunk it down even more to 5 minutes, but 15 minutes is quite good. So you do 15-minute chunks, look to have your meetings no longer than half an hour. I do go run over. I'm very bad at that. I need to be focused on not running over on meetings. And then just stick to your time. So time is a factor that you never can get back. So don't know. And then also there's a question. I think there's a Q&A in there. I've got another one here, but Hannibal Lecter, was he a serial killer? Just say no, it wasn't Hannibal Lecter. It's Hannibal from it's Hannibal from the A-Team. So yes, he was. Hannibal Lecter was actually a killer, a serial killer, but it wasn't. You know, it's Hannibal. If you've not seen the A-Team, go to YouTube. I probably did, Sam, and it's probably a slip of tongue. So I apologize. I probably said Lecter, but yeah, no, it was. I wasn't intending to say him. So, how long does it usually take to build an A-Team in your experience? Please share. So, with creating an A-Team, it has taken me within intelligent outsourcing. It was actually quite quick, so I was able to do that fairly quickly because I could get the team there. But my biggest struggle was creating the A-Team in the UK in Naylor Accountancy Services, and that was because it was difficult getting the talent over here in the UK. So it didn't actually, and that's why I did the acquisition. So I did the acquisition back in 21, the first one, so that I could get client managers because I wanted them to take the burden from me being effectively the client manager as well, because I was dealing with all the clients, having client meetings and everything. I wanted other people to do that. But even then, that was an issue because they weren't the right people. They weren't the A-Team. They weren't A players. So it took the pain to go through that. And then we managed to get the right people in. So we got Michael and we got Andy in, and they were amazing. We did have someone else in, but we let them go because they weren't the right person we got, at all. So they were really good. Now we've got in the next acquisition that we've just done, we've just taken on a lot of people, like 6 people here in the UK with them, and they are all eager to grow and develop into they are A players now, but they're wanting to grow and develop into where we want them to go on this client manager type journey. So it's really positive for us after the first experience. But honestly, it was very difficult. I don't know if that's from you, Sam, but it's very difficult building it here initially. You need those right people. So Andy took everything from me, off my head, off my shoulders, like the client meetings. All the clients love him as well. And Michael was able to do it on what we call the QPod side. So he took all them on, and Andy took the ones off me. So the QPod was the acquisition, the first one. So what that meant is I was able to step back more, look at the strategy for Naylor Accountancy Services, but also focus on intelligent outsourcing because I hadn't been able to, because I kept getting pulled back in to Naylor Accountancy Services. I'm in a very lucky position right now that I can step out more because I've got great number 2s in Naylor Accountancy Services and intelligent outsourcing, and a great leadership team, all A players, in my opinion, underneath them as well. And then they've got an internal, it's a great team below that. It can all change very quickly, so you need to make sure, if you're not careful, if you get the things wrong, so you do need to make sure that you pull people in on things, which is why the letter of expectations is very useful to use with existing team members as well, but also the core values, and they get it, have understanding of what they're doing, have the capacity, brain power to do it, and the time. And then also the want, as in they actually do want to do it. So look at all that, make sure everybody does that. If they don't, you need to work that out first. So by asking questions of them, then that helps you develop people. And the point there, Sam, is as well, you need to trust them and believe in them, and then they start believing in themselves. It's leadership's a very interesting thing because you do need to put a lot of trust in people. And you need to let people make mistakes as well. So you need to let people understand what those mistakes are. For any A team, you need to let them understand it. And I am very blunt with that, but then you need to allow them to make those mistakes and then look at ways that they can make sure there's a solution to make sure it doesn't happen again. And then don't let them make that same mistake again. If they do, then there's an issue, and you need to understand why and ask them, can you please help me understand why you've made this XYZ mistake again, and then listen to them. So I hope that's answered the question, Sam, for that one. So the other one I've got here is, right, if you want the discovery call, there is no cost. I'm very happy to just do it for free. I mean, there is my time, but I'm very happy to do that. And yeah, no, somebody's saying, do you feel like you have an A team now? I've just mentioned that. So yes, I definitely do. But I'm always looking to enhance it. So I'm looking at where we need extra person. So like on the profiling, you knowing what people are like, and also on the strengths and skill sets. So if people want to develop in certain areas, I'm always thinking, where do we need extra strengths and what is that person good at? And it's a bit like, if they're good at French, don't get them to speak German, get them to speak French. If they want to learn German, or French or whatever, then get them to do it in their own time. Or not, develop that, but don't get it as the main thing that you want them to do within your business. So you do it as a self-development thing. Do you profile all hires? We do in IO, especially. So in the intelligent outsourcing, we call that IO. We profile anybody before we put anyone forward to any partner. It's just to get an understanding of the person, and making sure that they would be a good fit, and then letting the partner know what that good fit, what that person is like as well. So it helps them knowing how to manage them as well. How are you able to run two businesses and grow them both at the same time? I mean, I've sort of mentioned that. I'm very lucky in that we have created a leadership team in each, and I'm sort of stepping into what I call the visionary role. So I don't get involved with I mean, I do to some degree, but not massively. So at the moment, I'm involved with certain things like, but I am not involved with the day-to-day doing of either. And I don't really want to either, because if I do, then it steps me back into not being able to move things forward where I want to. So are we overrunning? Oh, I'm really sorry. Have I covered all questions? Yes, I have. All right, well, guys, thank you very much for everything. So just, if you are interested in what we are doing and offering, so do be aware that we are able to do what was it? So here, just to transform, so hopefully it's been value to you today. And just have a think about if you want that discovery meeting, and just remember, if you do want it, discuss your business and vision. I'm very happy with that. A reflection from my experience, and a template for writing a letter of expectation as well, and also ideas for moving your business forward. I'm very happy to share what my thoughts are, and obviously a signed copy. So just one parting thought. This is Helen Keller. So, alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. So alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. And that's why you want an A team, because you can do far more with a team than you can by yourself, because it all magnifies what you do. Great to have you on board here today. Thank you so much. Don't forget, if you do want to book a discovery meeting, just do contact Stephanie, and have a good Tuesday and happy St. George's Day. Take care. Bye.